In this lesson, we will discuss the while loop. We will discuss the structure of the while loop and the operation of the while loop. We discussed previously the for loop. Another kind of loop that exists in C language is the while loop. Apparently, the while loop looks simpler than the for loop and uses the same elements, but they are scattered all over the program. Now let's discuss the format of while loop. The format of a single statement while loop is, you have the while keyword, which is followed by a pair of parentheses, and inside the parentheses you have the condition. Next you have the statement, which is terminated using a semicolon. Notice that there are no braces surrounding the single statement loop body. So if the while loop comprises of just one statement, the use of braces is optional. Here is the general format of the while loop that applies to both single statement loop body or multiple statement loop body. You have the while keyword, which is followed by parentheses, and inside the pair of parentheses you have the condition, and then you have a pair of braces, and inside the pair of braces you can have a block of one statement or multiple statements. Okay, so you can enclose a single statement loop body with braces, but for multiple statement loop body the use of braces is must. In case of single statement loop body it is optional, whereas in case of multiple statement loop body the use of braces is must. Okay, now let's write a program using while loop that prints the numbers 0 to 9. Let's name this program while loop.c. Now here is the while loop.c program. As you can see, the program execution starts from main. In this case we have only one function, which is the main function, and the very first statement inside the main is int count assigns to 0. Okay, so you have defined a count variable and you have initialized it to 0. Okay, next you have this while keyword, which is followed by a pair of parentheses, and inside the parentheses you have the condition. Okay, now if this condition count is less than 10 is true, the body of the while loop, which in this case comprises of a printf statement and a count plus plus statement. Okay, it comprises of two different statements. So long as the condition in the loop expression evaluates to true, the body of the while loop will be executed. Okay, the very first statement in the while loop is printf count equal to %d/n comma count, and then as you can see that we have ended this printf statement using a semicolon. The next statement is count plus plus, so each time through the loop you must increment the loop variable, which is count. Okay, so first time through the loop the condition becomes 0 is less than 10, and then the count variable is incremented. Second time through the loop the condition becomes 1 is less than 10. Third time through the loop the condition becomes 2 is less than 10. Okay, so long as this condition is true, the body of the while loop, which in this case comprises of printf statement and count plus plus statement, will be executed. Okay, now let's have a look at this table. We have this while loop.c program, and as you can see that the first time through the loop the condition in the loop expression becomes count is less than 10, which evaluates to true, and the program prints count equal to 0. Okay, second time through the loop the condition becomes 1 is less than 10, which again evaluates to true. The program prints count equal to 1. Third time through the loop the condition in the loop expression becomes 2 is less than 10, which again evaluates to true, and the program prints count equal to 2, and this goes on, and 11th time through the loop the condition becomes 10 is less than 10, which evaluates to false, and therefore this loop will then exit, and the body of the loop will not be executed in the 11th iteration, okay, because in the 11th iteration the condition in the loop expression becomes 10 is less than 10, which evaluates to false, okay, and therefore the program prints nothing. Once you build and run this program, the program prints count equal to 0, count equal to 1, count equal to 2, and so on up to count equal to 9. Let me now explain to you the structure of the while loop. You have this while keyword, which is followed by a pair of parentheses. Inside the parentheses, we have what is known as the loop expression. The loop expression in this case is count is less than 10. So long as this loop expression evaluates to true, the body of the while loop is executed. The body of the while loop in this case comprises of two statements. The first statement is the printf statement, and the second statement is the count plus plus statement that is used to increment the loop variable count. Notice that we have surrounded the two statements with braces. We must increment the loop variable each time through the loop. So the body of the while loop will be executed so long as the loop expression count is less than 10 evaluates to true. Once the loop expression becomes false, the while loop exits. In order to tell how the while loop differs from the for loop, let's consider an example program. Let's name this program while loop2.c. Let us first consider for loop2.c example we discussed in the previous lesson, and then compare it with while loop2.c program. Now here is the for loop2.c program that we discussed in the last lesson, and as you can see, once we build and run this for loop2.c program, it gives this output, okay. It prints the count variable and the cumulative sum or the running total, okay. So you can also define a variable total instead of sum. It's up to you, okay. Now here is the while loop2.c program, which is the equivalent while version of the for loop2.c program. And as you can see, this program gives the same output as before. So as you can see, we have defined a count variable and we have initialized it to 0. Next we have this sum variable which stores the cumulative sum, and we have initialized it to 0. Next the condition in the while loop is evaluated, and the condition becomes 0 is less than 10, which evaluates to true, and the sum variable will then store sum assigns to 0 plus 0, okay. So first time through the loop, the printf statement prints count equal to 0, sum equal to 0, okay. And again the while loop condition is checked. Second time through the loop, the condition becomes 1 is less than 10, okay. And the first statement sum equal to sum plus count will become 0 plus 1, okay, and the sum will then store 1, and the printf statement will then print this count variable and the sum variable, okay. And as you can see, this goes on, and each time the cumulative sum or the running total is printed, and program shows this output, okay. So as you can see, the body of the while loop comprises of two statements, and therefore we have surrounded them with braces. Okay. Kindly note how the loop expression is the expression in the parentheses that follow the while keyword, is simpler than the loop expression in the for loop. In the for loop, the loop expression is comprised of three parts. The loop expression in the while loop dispenses with the initialize and increment expressions, thus preserving the test expression only. Now a question might prop up in your minds as to where did the initialize and test expressions go. The initialize expression is now specified in the variable declaration int count equal to 0. The incrementing of the loop variable takes place inside the printf statement. In while loop2.c program, notice how the count plus plus has been used to increment the loop variable in the printf statement. Now, as you can see, we have used count plus plus in the printf statement. This count plus plus has the same effect as count equals count plus 1. You could have incremented the count variable in a separate statement following the printf statement. Now, as you can see, we have incremented the count variable on the very next statement following the printf statement. Using count plus plus in printf statement means that the count variable is incremented immediately after it is printed. Many languages would require you to increment the count variable in a separate statement, count equals count plus 1, following some printf-like statement. In C language, the expression count plus plus may be used to achieve the same effect as count equals count plus 1. This flowchart explains the operation of the while loop. When you enter the while loop for the first time, the loop variable is initialized. Once the loop variable has been initialized, next the loop expression is tested. The loop expression is the condition inside parentheses that follow the while keyword. If the loop expression evaluates to true, the body of the while loop is executed, and following this, the loop variable is incremented. Then the loop expression is evaluated again, and if it evaluates to true, the body of the while loop is executed and the loop variable is incremented again, and this cycle goes on so long as the loop expression evaluates to true. If the loop expression evaluates to false, the while loop simply exits. Now let's see how this program while loop2.c fits into this flowchart. Now as you can see, we have defined a loop variable count and we have initialized it to 0. So this is the initialize step. Okay. Then we have the loop expression, which is the condition inside the parentheses that follow the while keyword, and the loop expression is count is less than 10, and this condition is then tested, and if the condition evaluates to true, the body of the while loop, which in this case comprises of two different statements, is executed. Once the body of the while loop is executed, the loop variable, which is the count variable, is incremented. Okay, and once it is incremented, then again the loop expression is tested, and if it is true, then the body of the while loop is executed and the count variable is incremented again, and this cycle goes on until the test expression becomes false. If the test expression becomes false, the while loop simply exits and the program terminates. This brings us to the end of this lesson. I hope you found this lesson useful. See you in the next lesson.